Listen. So one of the Prime shows on Prime Video is the boys spinoff, Gen V. That's pretty much sky high in their universe, and it's one of those cool extensions that was already teased with some Easter eggs back in The Boys, where they were showing some of the main characters in the background of some computers. So while I need to make a timeline recap for all of The Boys before Season 4, this is going to be a full spoiler breakdown on why I think Gen V is a complete must-watch.
Do not watch this show if you are easily triggered by adult content, inappropriate language, inappropriate scenes, adult humor, or fun for that matter.
Before that, though, a big thanks to this video sponsor, Opera GX. The browser I've been using since middle school and is now upgraded to be one of the best gaming ones out there, which for someone who streams as much as I do, it's perfect because, that means no buffering. So if you're binging Gen V on your laptop, it's the perfect way to watch since they even have a collab with the series where they've created a fictional social media platform called V that gives you exclusive content connected to the show that updates you throughout the season. Plus, they have a mod that customizes the whole browser so it's like you're on Esposito's computer. The big push is that GX Mods lets you customize your browser in whatever way you want, be it games, anime, memes. Each one allows you to play background music from whatever your favorite player is. Each one has different keyboard sounds when you're typing away. Even the tabs make a noise when you close or open them. And they've all got dedicated wallpapers, themes, and colors. They also make it super easy to transfer all of your history and bookmarks with their import tool that brings everything over from whatever your other browser was, including every Google Chrome extension, which works here, which is pretty dope. So if you're interested, click the link down below to up your browser game and customize it in whatever style you want and enjoy streaming with absolutely no buffering, especially when you're binging Gen V over on Prime Video. So a big thanks to Opera GX for sponsoring this video, and now let me explain.
Okay, sorry, can I get a quick Spark Notes version? Because I have no idea what the fuck you guys are talking about.
So the series follows the students at Goldberg University that's pretty much the Yale for superheroes that's either going to lead you into being part of their Justice League known as the Seven, or you end up in their art department known as their Suicide Squad.
Excuse me? Come on. Recording a reaction video.
It takes that Chronicle approach where you actually get to see teens that come from Gen Z doing what teens would do if they were pumped with Con V. Because if The Boys leans in on that saying of who watches The Watchmen, and this is asking who raises the heroes.
So don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up.
The main student we follow is Marie, who's a bloodbender, meaning she can control it inside and out. But when she's young and first gets her powers, she accidentally kills her parents because it freaks her out. And I know they say your first period is like a crime scene, but damn. Because she went all Carrie, they end up taking away her sister, and they send Marie to Red River, which is this youth facility, and that's where she's practicing her blood bending like she's Doc Ock, in hopes of getting into this place called Goldberg University. Or else she's going to be taken in a paddy wagon, which will come back into play. Marie does end up making it, but the problem is that she wants to be in the crime-fighting division, but she gets denied faster than my copyright rebuttals, and she realizes that this school isn't what she thinks it is.
Meaningful core curriculum, such as hero ethics and understanding branding.
Her dorm mate Emma ends up being one of my favorite characters, and her power is that she can shrink like Ant-Man. She's easily the nicest person who tries to get along with everyone, and even lets people borrow her clothes in whatever size that they want. But the only way that she can use her powers is if she makes herself vomit. So it ends up becoming this clever take on body dysmorphia, the same way that Marie's bloodbending only comes out if she Hannah Bakers herself. That's the reason why we got a warning before every episode.
Are you gonna take a break? Get help?
That's different. That's my power.
Thank you.
She's also a YouTuber who clearly gets nicer comments than most, but what's worse is that she's one of those dance mom kids whose parents injected her when she was a child with Compound V in order to make them famous.
So you might need to add 50 calories. Okay, I'm just gonna check your height. I have a measuring tape here.
Mom,
somewhere.
do not measure me.
Again, the whole thing with Compound V is that while it does give you powers, there's like only a 20% survival rate if you're an adult, which is why most parents are injecting their kids when they're babies in hopes of, making it big when they grow up and become a superhero. So while The Boys showed how corporations are exploiting adult superheroes, this is showing how the parents do it too. Sadly, almost making their powers the root of all of their trauma.
It's an elevated superhero thing, really a meditation on grief.
The star kid at the school is Schwarzenegger's son, who goes by Golden Boy, and he's pretty much the Human Torch who everyone looks up to. The school also has this ranking system that sets the best of the best to get drafted, with past students even making it to the 7, and even the Deep, who almost barely ranked at 7. But while Lucas is a shoo-in to make it in, he keeps having these nightmares that might make it all go away.
You remember what I told you?
You said that I'd be bigger than Homelander.
Did I?
Kate is Lucas's girlfriend who can control people's emotions and thoughts like Emma Frost.
But you don't give a fuck, right?
I do not give a fuck.
That's why she's always wearing these Freddy Krueger rogue gloves, since with one touch she can deliver the ultimate "why are you hitting yourself?"
And swing that bat as hard as you can into your nuts.
Jordan is the dean's TA who switches genders more than their mood changes.
Sir, they
rejected me from your intro class.
They're like Mystique, decked out in a bi necklace and all, but they kind of suck at first because all they do is the dean's dirty work, going as far as denying students if they don't have high social media numbers, which sadly is like the one thing that the show does actually get honest to life. But once you get their backstory with their parents, you finally get to see the real side of them.
You were my firstborn son. The day you were born was the best day of my life. Sometimes I think you change into a girl just to spite me.
Stop.
Andre is the second up when it comes to the rankings and is also Luke's best bud, having what I at first thought was telekinesis, but it's really him controlling metal, just like Magneto. That's something his father, Polarity, also has, since he was a past student who's not trying to live vicariously through his son so he can make it to the 7, because he never did. This doofus did.
A-Train was just drafted into La Siete.
First black man in the 7.
Then there's your student rep, Maverick, who's translucent son from the 7 and can also go invisible, making him probably an even bigger creep because he's literally taken that GOAT status.
No kink shaming.
So think Euphoria with superheroes. And of age. The first night that Marie hangs out with the other main characters is at a club where they do more drugs than Wolf of Wall Street. Andre tries to flirt with this lady and almost kills someone when he's using his powers, but Marie comes in and saves the day with hers. And yet they still make her take the fall, so that way the other God U students don't take the blame.
And I can't tell you how sorry I am to tell you this, but you're being expelled.
Lucas learns that all the nightmares that he's been having are about these secret underground labs that the school has, known as the Woods. And when he starts to connect that they lied about his dead brother, this boy burns up faster than a Jonas brother and flame broils his dean. That leads to a hallway fight where he's now duking it out with his buddies, taking it all the way outside where he follows his golden rule and does unto himself like he does unto others. Burning harder than Icarus.
She's either gonna crash and burn or become the Black Starlight.
Immediately, the PR team starts spinning it in order to not get the school or Vought in trouble, and they decide to do a whole press run with Marie and Andre to make them the new heroes in order to hide why Lucas blew himself up. But they also don't want to give Jordan credit because they know that they won't pull well.
They're the one who actually fought Golden Boy.
Oh, a bi-gender Asian with pronoun fuckery. Great fucking idea, Kyle. Try selling that to Dallas and Fort Lauderdale.
Marie is now up in the ranks and becomes famous around campus, even getting selfies with Timothée Chalamet, while everyone processes what happened. Or makes content out of what happened. Now that Marie's getting sponsored, they're handing her Balenciaga bag, new clothes, she finally has a phone, but Andre and Emma, meanwhile, end up finding Lucas's secret video where he vents about his missing brother. And since Andre is still finding pieces of his body on campus, he sneaks into the dean's office to get more info, missing a crucial interview that'll affect his rankings, but leading him to know more about the Woods. Turns out that the nightmares were for this lab, because 3 years ago, Luke's brother Sam was in an institution because he couldn't control his powers.
Well, I got a lot more than powers.
I got a broken fucking brain!
They then locked him up because they considered Sam to be way more powerful than Luke, who was just powerful enough to market for the school while they experimented on his brother down below. After a gala party where their parents tried to pitch their children, Andre reaches out to Emma for her help so that she can sneak into the facility, putting her in danger. But even worse is when Andre finds out that his dad knows.
Don't say another fucking word about this.
You know.
At the party, the girls learn about Marie killing her parents, that Kate accidentally caused her brother to go missing with her powers, all while Sam and Emma end up making a tiny connection.
You're pretty.
Gosh.
After lying about his brother still being alive, they make an eerie escape, making it out to an abandoned drive-in where they hide out. And they quickly become some of my favorites.
Two of you make a good-looking couple.
The thing with Sam is that he hallucinates in order to make things easier around him, so in this Boy Meets World, he starts seeing things and turning people into puppets whenever it gets too brutal.
And hurt you again.
Just leave me alone, television's Jason Ritter!
Marie ends up seeking out the help of Rufus, whose power is pretty much to roofie people, because she's so desperate that she ends up being duped by this naked mole rat, causing her to blow up his blood vessels in his nether regions.
Is this true? Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
And in a twist of events, these two end up swapping more than Jordan. Vought ends up hiring Ted Knight, a past student, who turned into an investigator when he couldn't make it into the 7. But he also couldn't even really make it as an investigator because he uses his psych-like powers for his reality show where he doesn't even solve cases. All this man does is pin things on other people. First, he pressures Andre into revealing that he was smashing his buddy's girlfriend behind his back. He calls out Kate for switching majors in order to become Lucas's superhero manager, and even hints at a reveal of Jordan that'll come in later.
We'll find it in the edit.
The main reason he's there is because he plans on blaming Dean Shetty for the fallout, but then this lady pulls up with the receipts showing a bunch of security footage that caught his addiction of finagling things. It's so bad that when you run back this episode, you even see this man fingering the tape hole when he was talking in front of the class.
With this case behind me, I move on to the next mystery. to seek out the whole truth.
Eventually, Sam can't take the voices in his head, and he seeks out the doctor's house who used to do the experiments on him, and that leads up to this massive fight where they're duking it out. Emma magically goes big, and then it just cuts to black like The Sopranos. They wake up the next morning not being able to remember several moments from the past days, specifically anything having to do with Sam, and at first they blame Rufus to the point that they're chasing him around campus, only for Andre to corner him, and then he's dumb enough to touch him. So he just blacks out again, waking up at their version of Good Burger.
I'll see you in hell. Okay, see you there.
Back at the dorms, Emma's excited because she finally cracked the top 100 in rankings since she went viral from the blackout and everyone was filming her when she got big. All this after that super influencer girl outed her binge secret after they were binge watching shows. So it just shows that all these social media numbers, they don't really matter because people are always going to flip-flop. Before they can even celebrate though, Marie finds a tracker on her neck that leads her to finding out that it's Kate who was duping them the whole time. And it's disgusting to think that she was the one who tried to set up Rufus, even given a whole SA story. That's why you noticed that her eyes were super red back in episode 3 when Andre first revealed to everyone what was happening in the woods, and she was really trying to use her powers to stop him since she's been working with the Dean the whole time. Now that's shitty.
I'm so sorry.
Turns out this lady has been manipulating her and medicating Kate in order to suppress her powers, even being all creepy with the get out tea and all. But then out of nowhere, Kate gives Andre and the rest of them a previously on, flashbacking all of their memories that they had just forgotten.
I'm so sorry.
Problem is, that leads them to getting all trapped in Kate's mind for an entire episode titled Jumanji. There they meet her imaginary friend, who is Soldier Boy, revealing to Andre that she does actually like him. It's just at the most awkward time.
Yeah, knock knock. Who's there? Go fuck your face.
Okay, fine, whatever. We need to know what's going on.
While stuck there, they learn that Kate was locked up by her parents for 9 years before calling in Dean Shetty, who drugs her up in order to make the voices in her head go away, but also limiting her powers. That's where they then flash through all of their secrets, like Kate's guilt for causing her brother to go missing, Marie's regret on what she did to her sister.
No matter how hard you try to be a hero, you'll always be a murderer to me.
Andre's guilt for sleeping with Kate behind his best friend's back, adding a bad taste to their go-to lines that they used to have for each other.
I love you. I love you too.
And then Jordan's that ends up being pretty big since they were a part of manipulating and even sedating Lucas for the Dean, adding a whole other layer to what they were thinking in that one episode when they had to confront him.
You're in on it too.
Luke.
Call it literal gaslighting. Speaking of, it's actually Kate who made Lucas believe his brother died while they were experimenting on him below all of their classes, and that's what leads her to being the one who's manipulating the rest of the main cast. Meanwhile, Sam and Emma have fixed things and are just smashing more than the Hulk. It was so good for the boy, he almost had to see her as a Muppet.
You have sex hair.
The moment they wake up from Kate's dream, these two come again as Sam busts in order to take down Kate for hurting Emma. But before he can smash another blonde, Emma calms him down as the group starts brainstorming for a plan to take down the Dean together.
So the virus worked then?
Only 5 millimeters more. That was all.
Now can you make it contagious?
Breaking down Dean Shetty, we learned that her family was actually on that plane that Homelander let crash, killing her husband and daughter, and ever since then she's had a plan to take them down. We see that she's able to get a lot of control from these superheroes because that's what she studied.
But we'll also get into the intersection of superpowers and mental health, which was my dissertation.
Before I was a dean, I was a behavioral psychologist, specializing in superheroes. You all act like you're made of steel. But you're not.
One of the big things she's been using the woods for is to create this virus that can spread to people who have compound V in their blood, killing superheroes just by breathing it in. And if you compare her to Billy, I think they're a lot alike. Both lost family to Soups, they both are manipulating the people around them to get what they need, and they're willing to go as far as necessary in order to get the job done. She even calls this ex-CIA lady who founded the boys and also lost her grandkids to some Soups, but she doesn't hear her out because she's not pro-genocide and just leaves her hanging. But she does make a call to someone we may see later.
Did you get all that?
Seeing how several people are seeking out the virus, I do think that Dean Shetty may be somewhere in between where she kind of sees it as the only option to stop the Soups, who are so powerful that they killed her family and just got away with it. It's like a double-edged solution that's very similar to Oppenheimer. And when you look at the rankings, look at what this kid's name is.
It's a war crime.
This is a war, us against them. And so far, they've been winning. The virus gives us a way to fight back.
Before a massive event, Andre watches his dad's interview where he starts convulsing live on TV, and knowing that he was supposed to be the hero interviewing the politician, look, I'm just saying, I think it was a hit. Now he's rushing his dad to the hospital where they're crushing that ambulance worse than Jake Gyllenhaal did, and while his dad does get help, Andre gets hit with the truth of his powers and how every time they use them, they're causing these brain tears.
You follow the straight and narrow. Do whatever they tell you.
The school then goes berserk when Victoria Newman comes in to talk, and that's who Marie's hoping may help them in stopping the virus, not realizing she's going to use the virus for herself. And you notice that all of these times that they're trying to get something done, they don't realize that the people who they're seeking out for help, they've scripted everything out.
To give the illusion of choice.
Because obviously they have the media in their pockets, so that interview lady early on, she was definitely told to bring up Marie's sister just to psych her out so that she didn't say the truth.
We won't mention your sister.
You know where she is?
And even when Marie tells Victoria that she wants to use her platform to be a hero, she gets hit with,
"Is marketing, okay? But the first black woman in the 7. She has real power."
But again, this lady has eyes everywhere. She's just repeating what she already knows Marie wanted.
Wouldn't be surprised if you ended up protecting a city one day.
I think you meant to say first black woman in the 7.
The fact that they also share the same powers is really interesting because I think it shows how powerful Marie is capable of being. Like, they both have the same upbringing of having killed their parents. They were both raised at Red River eating fish sticks. And Victoria even admits that she's the one who got Marie into Gold U. So seeing Marie learn her powers is also like the cleanest way of explaining Victoria's without ever having to give her a flashback.
And you got in on your own merits. I just, gave you a little boost.
Hold on.
Victoria ends up snatching the virus and kills the doctor to leave no witnesses or even an antidote. And we see the fallout of that town hall meeting she was at, where everyone just went crazy. Because all these kids are pretty much walking weapons of mass destruction. Who would have ripped up the Sokovia Accords right on sight?
Humans aren't our fucking peers.
We're superheroes. We can do whatever we want.
What you doing?
Helping soups.
Hurting humans?
Same thing.
And these kids don't want Homelander to go on trial. They're ready to go on the front lines for him, even indoctrinating Sam in the process.
You will not control us!
This is not about control.
And that's why I think all of this works, because easily the most important part of Gen V and the boys and this whole cinematic universe or television universe that they got going on is that it tackles how evil can come out of anywhere that there's power. Like, it could be a workplace, it could be a religious corporation, universities. It really works because they're able to put a personal spin on it.
You know, she taught me how to do it. How to stick my fingers down my throat until I vomited bile.
To me, it's a great satire because it blends in all of the real-world events, like, right in time. It's almost like that episode of Mr. Robot that had to be delayed because the events ended up becoming true. And compared to something like South Park, I think it's able to out-parody it.
Two lives matter!
We live in a post-racism world.
I'm super inclusive.
I'm super curious.
I'm super abled.
It's gonna be big, like post 9/11 big.
Okay,
It's able to do this great thing with all the backstories to, like, random side characters, because you can notice, like, this dude early on in the first episode who is just scarred when he's watching Luke's training, that this boy needed to be consoled, or the shapeshifter who you know has just gotten in trouble for impersonating too many people.
You know, I'm allowed to do it when I have permission, man.
They even do a sneaky job at calling out things just by asking questions.
is Black Almost a thing?
And ironically, like Severance on Apple, Vought's like Amazon and owns everything. Like, these are heroes who are pretty much corporate brands in this world, with them even having cinematic universes that kind of has me curious on how they handle them being actors and also the VFX budget.
You are not a person. You are a product to them.
Even the tie-in part of it is done well in my opinion, because they'll have things like VOT Plus that I think has more subscribers than Prime, but it builds up the world with all of these posters and shows that you see throughout the series. It makes it feel interconnected. The news will even be covering events from other episodes and how it's affected the branding of some heroes. And so far, I think even with the cameos that they have from the boys, it works well because it doesn't have that Marvel problem where you feel like you need to watch a whole other series. They're presenting them to you from the point of view of the Gen V characters. So it's how they see them. And if you wanted to know more, they then have a whole other 3 seasons.
They don't think I pay attention, but I do.
In the final hour, the Dean just gets cut out of the series, and I'm wondering if she doesn't have some other sneaky thing up her sleeve, since in the scene prior to this, we saw Shetty touching Kate. And I don't know if they have similar powers. Because if you think about it, Victoria got Marie into God You, and they share something. Then maybe that's why Shetty scoped out Kate in the same way. We know that Kate's powers, without the meds, do give her the ability to use them without even touching people. So she could be making her friends imagine things. And that would explain how we went from 0 to 100 between these two scenes.
I know you feel alone. But we have each other. One last push from you. And then we can leave all of this behind.
I know you love me. It doesn't change the fact that you're a fucking bitch.
Kate, the fuck is going on?
So at this point, with her eyes being blood red during the whole scene, I don't know when we're being duped as the viewer for what we're seeing or not. Kate and Sam then free all the prisoners from the woods and are let loose to start melting faces off like paninis as they full-on reveal that Goldberg is not really a school where they study, but are meant to be studied. They're the subjects. And that's why the whole place is built like a prison.
Look, this is fucked up, but Godolkin and Vought are fucked up too.
Now, I'm surprised that it took 5 years, but they were bound to cover a school attack. I just don't know how they would practice an active laser drill. We see the PR guy's cover get blown before he gets blown, all in a live stream so the whole world can see them kick and rumble. They said applications have been dropping for students, but now so are students. The one thing that I did want to see though, I'm not gonna lie, was Sam coming in to leave his 5-finger review on the director, because I just wish he would have left him on the floor looking like a rotten tomato.
You know, if you're gonna do this, make sure you do it for you.
Marie actually takes the advice of Lucas that he gave her in the first episode when they were on 7 Tower, and she decides to stand her ground and be a hero. They start duking it out with everyone. She's fighting Maverick, acting out what it looks like to argue in the comment section. These two knock each other out while having the cleanest sneakers. But then Marie goes all out, giving people heart attacks, throwing out blood daggers, and right when Jordan is about to get attacked by Kate, she gives them a hand.
Do you really want to be like your dad?
By now, Emma's able to shrink without puking, as Sam's also asked Kate to just completely take over and to boost him by making the voices in his head stop, and they become prime soldiers. That then leads to the arrival of Homelander.
What kind of animal are you? Hey, yo, what the? Do you like attacking your own kind?
Bruh. I think he realizes that he'll be able to use these two to campaign for him, especially since they'll be able to attract a younger audience. Because even on YouTube, if you've noticed, every political channel has just thrown thousands of dollars to hire young influencers. And when you look at it, this group's already promoting him for free.
Homelander is right.
So in order to protect and serve, this man really hit Marie with a stop resisting.
Stay back.
In the end, Marie somehow survives this blast because she either has the best plot armor on the series or because Homelander wasn't looking to kill, but to blame these four for the massacre as they wake up in this super secret testing room where this dude has a phone for some reason. Meanwhile, the news praises these two without ever questioning where Sam came from, as that call from earlier from the director leads to Billy the Boy showing up in the after credits to look for the virus that'll take down all of the suits. Now it's only a matter of time till we get a Laser Baby spinoff.
Are you fucking kidding?